Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a hot minute since I've actually sat down and done a video with a camera on a tripod and actually filmed something properly. The rest of the things I've been doing have been vlogs and I've been shaky and all over the shop, but I'm back today and it's a bullet journal video. I will be cutting to my bullet journal soon and you'll see a flat lay, and I'll be talking you through the January and the February spread of my bullet journal. It's a very late video coming. There's been a lot going on so far in 2019 and a very busy end of 2018. At the end of 2018 I created a second printable calendar which looks like this. As it's the 1st of February as I'm filming this, I will show you February. I have already marked on some kind of important dates and things. These are awareness days and bits and bobs like that. So if I do that, it might focus. There we go. A couple of my favourite months. I really like April. I think April looks pretty cute. I really love July and August. I'll show you August. But just to give you an idea, this is what the new calendar looks like. It's got a little affirmation here, or a saying, a quote, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, loads of space for writing at the bottom. So I'm really happy with how that looks. If you want to get your hands on that throughout the month of February, go to leafletingstudio.com. You can apply the code HAPPY10, that's HAPPY10, I'll put it down in the description box, and you can get 10% off either of my downloadable calendars. There are two to choose from. I've updated last year's calendar with a bigger grid at the bottom, so you've got much more room to put in all those important dates, and you can use it for blogging, business planning, or just as a general calendar. And because it's printable, you can print out as many as you want. There you go. So share that code with your friends. Happy10. Support a small business like mine, which is leafletingstudio.com online, and I will love you forever. Let's get into the reason that you've clicked on this video, which is a bullet journal flip through. I have bought a new bullet journal for 2019. Well, it will be one of the ones I use for 2019 because I normally go through a couple. I've got them both down here so I can show you. This is the one I normally use. This is my old one. It's the third one of these I've had. This is the Lectern 1917. It's the official bullet journal in that it's got the page numbers and all of the different prompts and things inside that you would expect a bullet journal to have. And this is the second one, which is by a company called Dingbats. I will link every single thing I am telling you about down below, so don't worry about scribbling anything down. I will link it. If I put these together, you will see the Dingbats one is a little bit wider here. It also has a little place for the pen to go. The paper is slightly more slippery, but it is a bit thicker, but otherwise just a dotted journal, and it comes in a few different colours, and also you can get a few different creatures, wildlife, people, there's no people, on the front. I'm really happy with this so far. The only thing I would say is that the paper is a little bit slippery, but I don't mind it. I'm doing alright with it so far, so I'm happy with that, and as I go through the flip through you will see that. I thought I'd start the video by talking to you about a little freebie that I created for anybody who likes to journal, bullet journal, and although it was a January giveaway, in that it also had a January calendar with it, the main reason I created it was for the bits and pieces that came with the main sheet. I'll put a picture of that on the screen for you, and if you're interested in getting your hands on that, you'll see it featured in my January bullet journal flip through in a minute when we get there. You can still get your hands on that, and I'll put the link down below. It's totally free. You just sign up for that and you can print it off at home as many times as you like. Once you have signed up for that, you will be on my newsletter, which you can unsubscribe from at any time, but I will also be creating extra freebies for bullet journaling and journaling in general, as well as some free printables throughout the year, so you may want to stay put on that list and just wait for those things to come up. I'm also hoping to create some backgrounds for your phones and your computers and gadgets and bits and bobs. I sounded about 100 years old when I said gadgets, didn't I? But there we go. I am 100 years old. This month, actually. Okay, before we start, I want to talk to you about my favourite tools for bullet journaling and for doodling and journaling in general. First of all, let's talk washi tape. I love washi tape. I have a lot of it. A lot of it is on that lamp behind. You can see a little stack of washi tape around about there. I bought some new washi tape. Again, I will link it down below. It was from Amazon and it was super cheap. And you know, when you buy something from Amazon super cheap or from eBay, you think, I don't know what this is going to be like, but I'll risk it for a biscuit because I don't know, and I'll just take a chance. I am so happy I took the chance because these washi tapes are stunning. I can't remember the company that I got them from. They were under 60p each, which is insane for washi tape. But and the bonuses, they actually stick. Anyone who's used washi tape before will know that if it's really cheap, often it doesn't stick, which defeats the object. So this one, now I've got to try and get this to focus for you. If I hold my hand up, it may. It's a really pretty watercolour, botanical rose type tape. So pretty, absolutely love that one. That one is featured in my February spread, so you'll see that in action. The second one is one that's featured in my January bullet journal spread, which I think is gorgeous. Isn't that absolutely stunning? I'd love to create some washi tapes. I just love that. Look at that. And the third one I haven't used yet, but I love it. There we have it, look, it's beautiful blues and purples, little leaves, little flowers, super duper cute. So yeah, washi tapes I use really regularly. I really like to layer them up, and you'll see in my January spread that I like to kind of use them as layers. These ones I've bought a transparency, kind of whitey transparent background, so although they've got the flowers on them and the leaves on them, you can lay them over other things and see what's underneath, which I really like to use to create texture and just a bit of interesting creativity onto the bullet journal spreads. Onto the tools I like to use. For the most part, for the general kind of drawing, I'll use a mechanical pencil such as this one from Paper Chase. You get them in packs of 10. It's just a mechanical pencil, but I like using those. Especially when I'm writing quotes and things, I want to make sure that the layout is right. And then once I've done that, I will go over them in fine liner. If you're looking for something kind of affordable and basic, then I really love these Beryl ones. They remind me of school, for sure. You can get them on Amazon in packs of 20 or something, which is the cheapest way to do it. They are a little bit thicker though, so if you want something thinner, go with the one I'm about to talk about. But the Beryls are really nice, especially for hand lettering. They do the job. They do, what's the word I'm looking for? They do bleed a bit more, and if you get water on them, then they're going to smudge. However, if you spend a little bit more money and you're really into your art and craft, which obviously I am, I like to get something that's going to be a little bit more hardy, especially when I'm hand lettering envelopes with Leaf Lane Studio for wedding stationery. I want something that's a permanent ink, that's not going to bleed or blend or smudge or anything like that. And I use these ones. These are really, really common. You see these everywhere, but they're about £3 each, which is quite pricey. This is a 0.1 fine liner. As you can see, super, super, super thin. I have this also in a 0.3 and a 0.5. They're just really good for general kind of lettering, and also if you're going to use things over the top of them, such as a Tombow marker or a watercolour marker, then they're not going to go anywhere. Whereas if you put one of these pens over the Beryl pen, for example, it's just going to put black everywhere and it's going to mess up your pens. So yeah, I do like to use markers in my bullet journals. They do bleed ever so slightly if you go over them a few times. These ones are my favourite. They are the Winsor & Newton brush marker. This is in the shade Putty, so it's like basically like a beigey colour, a slight pink to it. One end is a brush nib and the other end is a chisel, kind of highlightery sort of nib. I love those. You can get those individually or in packs of colourways, so I've got a pastel pack and I love it. Or the Tombow marker, again, brush on one end and a fine liner on the other end. It's really useful. I use both ends about the same on these. Really like those. And finally, almost forgot this one, I can't do any journaling or any decoration on any Leaf Lane Studio envelopes or whatever without my white gel pen. If you've ever bought something from Leaf Lane Studio and received your envelope, you will know that I decorate the outside of your envelopes as best I can. I like to do that for my customers. I think it's a nice touch. I usually draw flowers and I hand letter the names and everything, and I always use usually a black liner and then this white marker. This one is what is this one? This one is a Uniball white gel pen. I like these ones, but I've had some Paper Chase own ones that have been brilliant, but this one is my favourite so far. It's relatively thick, it's just perfect, and I use it I use it on brown cardboard, I use it in my bullet journals over different things. Not so great over washi tape. I've got black washi tape that I use it with. Doesn't work so well with that, but generally you can create some really nice effects with a white marker, and yeah, it works lovely on brown paper. So if you're sticking old envelopes and brown paper into your journals and you want to add some kind of botanical detail, highly recommend you get a white gel pen. I just love this thing, I absolutely love it. And maybe a gold and silver marker. I use those sometimes too, depends on how I'm feeling. But they're the tools I use. What we're going to do now is we're going to jump straight into the flat lay of me flipping through my January spread and my February spread, and that will be that. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe if you're new. There will be coming a lot more bullet journal videos, I promise you. I've got a camera now. I'm still trying to get used to looking into the lens and not into the thing because that's new and I don't know what I'm doing, but it's all good. We're not relying on my phone anymore. I can actually put it on a tripod. I can actually do overhead shots. Thank you, Santa, i.e. mum and dad. Yeah, let's jump into it. And don't forget to get your freebie of all the things that you'll see in my January spread. Click on the link in the description bar and go and sign up, and then you can print it off and tell your friends. Why not? As you would have seen from the introduction, I've chosen a different journal to work with for the first part of this year. I normally go through about 2 journals a year, depending on how many spreads and pages I use for different things. So as you would have seen already, I'm using the Dingbat journal and I'm loving it so far. The only thing that I would say is a downside, if you are a real avid bullet journaler, then it's missing its page numbers and the kind of the tools at the beginning and the back of the journal that the Lectern 1917 has. But other than that, I'm loving it. It's slightly wider than the Lectern, which is great. It also has this little handy pen thing as well, so loving it. I'm going to kind of fly through this video a little bit because it's pretty self-explanatory, but I just wanted to show you how I've set up my journal so far. So on the inside of the Dingbat journals you have kind of a copy of the animal you have on the front. I have a dolphin, and although it kind of looks like a whale on the inside, we'll go with the dolphin theme. Okay, so my first page is my word of the year for 2019, which, as you can see, is intention. I will link a blog post down below, and everything in fact that I mention, including the journal will be linked down below. But my word of the year is intention. The blog post to match will be linked down below and it explains it completely, but it's a pretty self-explanatory word of the year. It's just about having more focus and less dreaminess to my day. I am a Piscean, I dream a lot and I have a lot of ideas that I can sometimes not bring into fruition if I'm not careful, so I want to make sure that I'm being very intentional this year with my goals and everything with my business and my blog. So that's the word of the year. On to the year to view. This is very self-explanatory, very common for bullet journalers, just to pop on a year to view and then some important dates and things along there, so that speaks for itself, kind of handy to have that. And then I usually like to pop a quote before the year starts that kind of aligns with my word of the year, and so it's definitely one that does. Live every day with intention, very straightforward, does what it says on the tin, and I am happy with how that looks. I'm really enjoying the style that I've got going on so far in this journal. So what I'm going to do now is just run you through the very first couple of pages that I have in here. And this year I decided to do one of these little Dutch door effects, which I think looks kind of cool. So I just doodled this out in my usual style, put the year down obviously, and then I just drew with a mechanical pencil just around the shape that I'd cut out and then illustrated that section so it looks like one page, but then you open it and magically it's not one page, it's on the next page. I popped a quote in here, and what I would say to anyone who likes to bullet journal or maybe who hasn't started a journal yet, just keep old envelopes and pieces of brown paper that things come wrapped in, because they come in really handy for layering and doing quotes and things. And as you would have seen from the beginning, I have a white gel pen I use and my fine liner, and I really like just to kind of create something that's visually pleasing and with quotes that I really like. And this is one of my favourite quotes: when the path reveals itself, follow it. So I popped that there right at the beginning, and then on to books to read this year, and as you can see, I've listed some books that I'd like to read. I did quite well on my book list last year. I think I read about 10 or 12 from my book list, so that's good for me. So I'm usually too busy to get through a book. And then on to the next page is a double spread for my Leaf Lane Studio master list. So you could do something similar if you have a blog. I don't tend to do it from Lucy with Love just because I sort of have a routine and I know where I am. But with Leaf Lane Studio, I have lots and lots of ideas, and so I basically pop everything on here that I'm thinking about doing. Doesn't mean it'll actually happen, but it's just ideas of things that I'm interested in doing, and that's my master list that goes across the entire year, and then I pull from that each month and work on something over that month. So that comes in really handy. And then I have had my eye on this quote for a while. I absolutely love this quote, so I'll read it to you. It says, "Most importantly, love like it's the only thing you know how. At the end of the day, all this means nothing. This page, where you're sitting, your degree, your job, the money, nothing even matters except love and human connection, who you loved and how deeply you loved them, how you touched the people around you and how much you gave them." I mean, isn't that just a perfect quote? I love it, I really do. So that had to be at the forefront of my journal for sure, so I'm glad that I included that. And then on to January. So I've got January and February set up. Obviously we're at the end of January now, but it would hopefully give you guys some ideas for some journal spreads. I released a free bullet journal printable, which I will link down below. It came with this January thing as well, which obviously is null and void as of the end of this month, but you can just forget about that part and print the other page and use that as much as you want. So I just chopped that out and then stuck it down, as you can see, with some washi tape. I love this washi tape, it's so nice. I'll link it down below for you guys. Really, really nice. So I've gone with the whole botanical, pretty cups, moon, stars, hearts theme throughout January, which is very much what the printable was about. So the first two pages are the month to view. I've gone for quite a standard layout to give myself some room to write things in. And then I have split my to-do list into business and personal, and then it'll be split out again as the weeks go on, and that's something I quite like to do. It works well for me. And then the next month ahead there, and anything that comes up for February, or if it had have come up, I would have just written it out here to make sure that I included it. Get creative is what I would say to you. Get creative and just add little sections of quotes and things that you're interested in, or little doodles, and just try things out and see, you know, like these borders for example, they look really pretty. Try them out, try different lettering styles and see how you get on. But I'm pretty happy with this January spread. I think it looks kind of nice. Next couple of pages, journal, and then this is a regular thing for me to do now, the spiritual pages. Every month I will sit and, well, I'll meditate all the time, but specifically at the beginning of the month I'll meditate and I'll think of either an issue I've got or a problem I want to solve or an idea I have, or if I have none of those things going on, I'll just ask for guidance, and then whatever card I feel drawn to, or sometimes a card will fly out my Oracle packs, that will be the card for the month, and that will just be a focus. I don't kind of, it's not something I live my life by, but it's just a nice point of focus. And January's card was a favourable outcome, and that was from the Doreen Virtue Archangel Michael set, which is one of my favourite stacks of cards. I absolutely love it so much. It just feels right whenever I use it. So yeah, I'll do that every month. And then this page really is dedicated to manifestations, to quotes, to pictures of things I'd like to manifest. I printed everything out to go for January. I don't know where it's gone, so hence that page is empty. So that's strange. I don't know where that stuff is. That's not a good way to manifest, is it? But that's what basically that page is for. And any quotes that mean something to me that I might want to use in the next month, I'll pop on there. And then onto the weekly spreads. This one, the spread for January took me a bit longer. I wanted it to be quite aesthetically pleasing, something nice and something with a lot of depth and texture to it. And anything that you see on here, like these brighter white background things, are from my free printable. I would suggest to you guys that if you have paper, the standard kind of printer paper is about the same colour as this background. It's slightly more yellow toned. That would look a little bit better, but I only had this bright white thick paper left, so that's what I had to use. And you can print it as many times as you like. I have not used the checklist more than once. I'll show you the drawing of the checklist. In the next printable that I do, I think I'm going to make everything just a tiny bit smaller. but still it's perfectly usable for now and it's free, so definitely go and download yours and print it out. Like I say, that'll be linked in the bar below, but I have basically left myself some space here for notes, the occasional quote, the checklist, which I chose to use gym, reading, meditation and walking. As you can see, the walking went really well that week. I've had this really bad cold and stuff, so I haven't actually wanted to go out in the wind and rain of Cornwall, but there you go. But just when you use the freebie, get really creative. So as you can see here, I cut this out, this leaf and moon star thing, and I just drew extra things around it, stuck it on some brown paper, and it just looks really pretty, I think. And then this little cup here, these are all going to be made into little sticker sets as well, so that's the next thing to come from this range. And then on to the following week, a couple more things from my freebie here, and just, you know, some freehand illustrations as well. Just go for it. And as you can see, I don't use a ruler, I just draw straight away, and I just think it looks nice that way. And then I drew my checklist in, so you could just use my printable for guidance and just draw, if you haven't got as much room to stick something that big in, then just draw your own. But yeah, I think it looks kind of nice, and every page is kind of the same theme, but just I've just set it out slightly differently just for interest really, and added in some little extra things like this label here, and these little squiggles and what have you. But yeah, like I said, this is a longer thing to set up if you want to make your bullet journal look like this. I tend to do a double spread per evening if I've got time, and then adding some quotes in as well. I really like this one. There are hidden blessings in every struggle. I really like that. Okay, and then at the end of January I decided to write a spring cleaning master list. I always get the bug to spring clean the house like a madwoman in kind of February, March time, so I've decided to write that. And then this is a quote to take me into a new month. I will pre-warn you, I have forgotten to rub out my pencil lines in most of my February spread, which is really annoying, but nothing I can do about it right now. So this quote, I love it. It says, "In order to love who you are, you cannot hate the experiences that shaped you." Amazing. Simple and to the point, we like that. It's my birthday in February and I always do a blog post, so this year I'll be 38, so it's going to be 38 things at 38, so I start using this here and I basically list things that have moved me, shaped me as a human being in the last 12 months, or things that I've really been into and enjoyed. That'll all go on there, and that should be turned into a blog post if it's any good. I will link last year's one down below for you to have a look at. The theme for February was very much hand-drawn foliage, really simple, and I wanted it to be quite different to January, so you can get a little idea of, you know, different spreads and things like that. So it's very, very simple, minimal amount of tools used, black fine liner, a little bit of washi tape as you can see, and I think that's about it. I don't even think I used any paper throughout February, but I wanted to show you the difference of minimal tools versus using a lot more equipment to build a kind of more textured page. So in February I chose to come away from the month review like this, and I chose to do it this way, so that I just listed the days of the month and I give myself just a line to write things. I like to mix it up a bit, and that works quite well and it looks quite nice. You'll see the theme of this going throughout the entire month of February, and then some washi tape as well, a couple of quotes, and then these are my master lists, personal and business. And then March, looking ahead to March there. Journal pages, and then my spiritual notes and oracle card. Really pleased with how this is looking actually. I think it's my favourite spread so far. And then, as I did with January, I've popped the month up here and I've just highlighted where we are in the weeks. And then I've also taken the roses from the washi tape and just drawn a few in some gaps there. But I've given myself a bit more space for to-do lists, so I'll draw from my master lists at the beginning, and so from here, whatever I'm writing in here, I'll draw out a couple of things, pop them in there, and then make them my focus for the week. And then notes here, and then a little section for my newsletters with sort of ideas that I'd like to send out to people in my newsletter, and then my checklist down the bottom. And then basically all of the weeks are the same. Some of them have quotes, some don't, depends on the space that I've allocated myself really. But I try not to be too kind of, as you can see, like all the lines are wobbly. I like that look. I like it to look lived in, I think is the word we're looking for. But yeah, just get creative and try different things. This spread only took, well, I worked on it for a couple of hours over a couple of nights, but I really like it. I really like how February's turned out, and I will definitely be releasing some more freebies. So make sure you're on my mailing list. Everything will be linked down below. Make sure you're on my blog mailing list, and if you'd like to go on my Leaf In Studio one, there will be different things going on there as well. I'd love to have you on there. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I'd love that. I'm starting weekly vlogs again now, and also give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Check out my other bullet journal videos, which I will link down below there. They have their own playlist, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.